The 30 most dangerous countries in the world. The world, with its 195 diverse countries, can be a tapestry of both breathtaking beauty and alarming danger. Navigating this complexity requires understanding the forces that shape global stability. Every year, the Institute for Economics and Peace, IEP, a renowned global think tank, provides a crucial lens through its Global Peace Index, GPI, report. This comprehensive study analyzes a nation's peacefulness by meticulously examining factors like violent crime, political instability, and military conflicts. The GPI assigns each country a score. The lower the score, the more peaceful the nation. This article delves into the other end of the spectrum, curating a list of the 30 countries with the highest GPI scores, revealing the most dangerous places to live in 2024. The results, reflecting a world fraught with new and protracted conflicts, might surprise you. Lightbulb, how's the Global Peace Index calculated? The GPI uses 23 qualitative and quantitative indicators to measure the absence of violence or the fear of violence. These indicators are grouped into 3 key domains: societal safety and security, e.g., homicide rates, political terror, ongoing domestic and international conflict, e.g., number of deaths from conflict, intensity of internal conflict, and the degree of militarization, e.g., military expenditure, armed services personnel. The countdown. 30 most dangerous countries. We begin our countdown from number 30, moving towards the country deemed the most dangerous in the world according to the latest GPI report. 30. Palestinian territories ongoing. Deeply entrenched conflict with Israel, political instability, and high levels of political terror contribute to Palestine's perilous state. Internal divisions and external pressures create a volatile environment with a constant threat of violence for its citizens. 29. Lebanon. Lebanon grapples with a severe economic crisis, political paralysis, and the constant threat of spillover from regional conflicts, particularly the Syrian war. The presence of armed groups and societal unrest makes for a fragile and dangerous security situation. 28. Mexico. While a popular tourist destination, Mexico is plagued by high levels of violent crime and homicides, largely driven by powerful transnational drug cartels. The ongoing war on drugs has led to widespread violence that affects civilians and destabilizes entire regions. 27. Eritrea's high degree of militarization, poor human rights record, and involvement in regional conflicts, such as the Tigray War in neighboring Ethiopia, place it high on this list. It is one of the most closed and authoritarian states in the world. 26. Venezuela, a protracted political and economic crisis, has led to societal collapse, hyperinflation, and soaring rates of violent crime in Venezuela. The breakdown of state institutions has created a power vacuum filled by criminal gangs, making daily life unsafe for many. 25. Niger faces significant threats from terrorist groups, including Boko Haram and affiliates of ISIS, particularly in its border regions. Political instability, underscored by recent coups, and extreme poverty exacerbate the security challenges. 24. Chad contends with internal rebellion, political instability, and the spillover of conflicts from neighboring countries like Sudan, Libya, and Nigeria. The presence of armed groups and a large number of refugees puts immense strain on the nation's security. 23. Cameroon is embroiled in multiple internal conflicts, the Anglophone crisis in the west, and the fight against Boko Haram in the north. These conflicts have led to significant internal displacement and a high level of political terror. 22. Colombia. Despite a historic peace deal with FARC rebels, Colombia continues to struggle with violence from other armed groups, drug trafficking organizations, and high homicide rates. The control of coca-growing territories remains a major source of conflict. 21. Israel, the long-standing and intense conflict with Palestine, coupled with tensions with neighboring countries and internal security threats, results in a low peace score. The nation maintains a high degree of militarization and experiences periodic escalations of violence. 20. Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, is beset by numerous security crises, including the Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast, banditry and kidnapping in the northwest, and farmer-herder conflicts in its central belt, leading to widespread insecurity. 19. Myanmar, Burma. Following a military coup in 2021, Myanmar has descended into a brutal civil war. The military junta's violent crackdown on pro-democracy activists and ongoing conflicts with ethnic armed organizations have created a humanitarian and security catastrophe. 18. Pakistan faces threats from multiple directions, including terrorist groups like the Pakistani Taliban, TTP, political instability, and tense relations with its neighbors, particularly India. Economic turmoil further fuels social unrest and violence. 17. Iran high levels of political terror, government suppression of dissent, and involvement in regional proxy conflicts contribute to Iran's poor score. Tense international relations and a heavily militarized state create a climate of pervasive insecurity. 16. Turkey's involvement in the Syrian conflict, its long-running conflict with Kurdish insurgent groups, PKK, and internal political polarization following a 2016 coup attempt all contribute to its ranking as one of the least peaceful countries. 15. North Korea. An extremely high degree of militarization, a deplorable human rights record, and a constant state of tension with South Korea and the international community firmly place North Korea on this list. It remains one of the most isolated and repressive regimes globally. 14. Burkina Faso. This Sahel nation is at the epicenter of a violent Islamist insurgency that has spread across the region. Frequent terrorist attacks, internal displacement of millions, and political instability marked by military coups have devastated the country's peace. 13. Ethiopia. The brutal civil war in the Tigray region, along with other ethnic and political conflicts throughout the country, has led to immense human suffering and instability. Despite a peace agreement, tensions remain high and the security situation is fragile. 12. Central African Republic, the CAR, has been mired in a cycle of sectarian violence and civil war for years. Despite the presence of UN peacekeepers, armed rebel groups control large swathes of the country, perpetrating widespread violence against civilians. 11. Mali. Similar to its neighbor Burkina Faso, Mali is struggling with an Islamist insurgency, intercommunal violence, and extreme political instability. The withdrawal of international forces has further complicated an already dire security landscape. Entering the top 10, a zone of extreme conflict, the countries in the top 10 are characterized by intense, ongoing conflicts that have shattered state institutions and created profound humanitarian crises. 10. Iraq. Decades of conflict, including the aftermath of the US-led invasion and the war against ISIS, have left Iraq deeply scarred. While the intensity of conflict has decreased, political instability, sectarian tensions, and the continued presence of militant groups pose significant threats. 9. Sudan. A recent and devastating conflict between the Sudanese armed forces and the Rapid Support Forces has plunged Sudan into a full-blown civil war. Cities have become battlegrounds, leading to a massive displacement crisis and a catastrophic humanitarian situation. 8. Somalia. For decades, Somalia has been a byword for a failed state. The central government struggles to exert control beyond the capital, with the powerful Al-Shabaab terrorist group controlling large rural areas and launching frequent attacks. 7. Ukraine. The full-scale invasion by Russia in 2022 has made Ukraine one of the most dangerous places on Earth. The ongoing war has resulted in tens of thousands of deaths, massive destruction of infrastructure, and the displacement of millions, representing the largest and deadliest conflict in Europe since World War II. 6. Russia. By invading Ukraine, Russia itself has seen a dramatic fall in its own peace index. The war has led to massive military and economic costs, increased internal repression, and heightened international tensions. Its actions have made both itself and the world a more dangerous place. 5. Democratic Republic of Congo, Congo-Kinshasa, the DRC, is home to one of the world's most complex and long-standing humanitarian crises. The eastern part of the country is a war zone involving dozens of armed groups, often fighting over the nation's vast mineral resources, leading to horrific violence against civilians. 4. South Sudan. Since gaining independence in 2011, the world's youngest nation has been plagued by civil war, political infighting, and extreme intercommunal violence. A fragile peace agreement has failed to stop the bloodshed, and the population faces a dire humanitarian situation. 3. Syria. Over a decade of brutal civil war has shattered Syria. The conflict, involving the government, rebel factions, extremist groups, and numerous international actors, has led to hundreds of thousands of deaths and displaced more than half the country's pre-war population. 2. Yemen is the site of one of the world's worst humanitarian crises, a direct result of a protracted civil war that began in 2014. The conflict, fueled by regional powers, has led to widespread famine, disease, and the complete collapse of basic services. 1. Afghanistan. For the 8th consecutive year, Afghanistan is ranked as the least peaceful country in the world. Despite the Taliban's takeover and the end of the 20-year war with US and NATO forces, the country remains extremely dangerous due to high levels of political terror, a humanitarian crisis, and the ongoing threat from terrorist groups like ISIS-K. Conclusion: a world in need of peace. The Global Peace Index paints a sobering picture of our world. The list of the 30 most dangerous countries highlights deep-seated issues of conflict, governance, and societal fragility. These are not just statistics. They represent millions of lives lived in constant fear and instability. Understanding these conflict zones is the first step toward appreciating the immense and urgent need for diplomacy, humanitarian aid, and global cooperation to build a safer, more peaceful world for all. Subscribe.